Good afternoon to you, good evening to you, depending on where you are. My name's Anthony. I'm part of the student recruitment team here at DCU. I'm going to talk to you generally about DCU, about Ireland, and about the application process for people applying from the European Union, United Kingdom, Switzerland, EEA, and EFTA. So there's a fair amount to cover. Before I begin, or at least as I begin, this is the basic summary of what we're going to be doing. So about the event Studying in Ireland, about DCU, how to apply. And I'm hoping you can all hear me. So when we're talking about student recruitment, we're talking about people like these. This is the room of our students taken some months back. You will have heard some of these people talking to you earlier this evening about engineering, psychology, whatever else. It is our great privilege and pleasure to work with these people. They know a lot about being a student. They can tell you what it's like from the inside. I'm going to talk to you more generally about Ireland and about DCU. So if you get a room full of students and ask them about why they might choose to study in Ireland, you will get some sort of combination of these variety of reasons. And you may recognize many of these yourself. And generally, the most important one really is the last one on the list. Simply, I want to study in Ireland. So many people do this every year. You too may be part of this idea, of this trend. So listen on. And here's some high-level stats about Ireland. So about 30 institutions go through the CAO system. I'll talk about that a bit further on. It's the common application system for applying to universities and colleges in Ireland. About 1,700 courses, 70,000 applicants every year, spread over some 30 institutions, many based in the Dublin area, but many also based outside Dublin. So where is Ireland? And this is a bit of an odd question to begin with, but we're that green splodge off the coast of Europe, and the island of Ireland is divided into two halves. We are the Republic, we're in the south side. In the top, there's Northern Ireland. That's part of the United Kingdom. So if you're interested in studying in, say, Belfast, Queen's University Belfast, University of Ulster, you're applying for that through UCAS, the British system. In the south, universities in Dublin, Galway, Limerick, for example, you're going to be applying through CAO. We are based, as I say, in Dublin, midway between the airport and the middle of town. So more precisely here. And you can see that we've got 3 campuses. So DCU Glasnevin is where most courses are based: engineering, sciences, psychology, business. And on St. Patrick's and All Hallows campus further into town, there are most our education courses and some of our humanities courses as well. So jazz and, say, history, English, and a few others as well. But generally, most students will be on the Glasnevin campus. This slide, I'm not going to go through it, but to start at the top, the business school, triple accredited by AACSB, AMBA, and EQUIS. That is for a university of our size, and bearing in mind we're only some 45, 50 years old, a considerable achievement. Employers basically recognize and value what our students can do. And of course, you'll have heard many of our students and seen what they can do, how they can talk about what they're studying with great fluency. And then the one at the bottom. So it's not just all about academic bits, league tables, rankings. Also, of course, it's about DCU as a wider stakeholder in the local community and in Ireland more generally. The university itself, 20,000 students, 16,000 on our main campuses, so the Glasnevin campus, 4,000 on the other two. Intra, I'll come to. The courses we'll look at a bit. In terms of how you might describe the university, 5 faculties, so split like this, and it's one way to look at courses. But those of you who've been hopping between channels will know that, of course, there are many connections between courses across different faculties. So it's always worth having a look. Don't be guided too much by the faculty distinctions. Think about, what is it actually that I want to be studying? So many courses will have intra, will have work placements. to explain the difference, a work placement, it's part of what you would be doing in, say, a teaching degree, a nursing degree, part of what you need professional registration, basically. Intra is very, very different. Happens by and large in third year. They are paid. You can be out for an entire semester, maybe the entire academic year, literally in a company like one of these. And again, you will have heard students talking about how this has made sense of their degree, how it's made them think about what they want to specialize into in their final year, help them think about what they want to do when they graduate. And of course, from the company's point of view, they are getting highly trained, motivated students doing internships with them. So they're thinking, these people are brilliant. Let's employ them further down the line. So again, properly done can transform your degree. And when you're thinking about where to study in Ireland, genuinely go and ask questions about the quality of intra and work placements at other universities as well, and just think, is this going to give me what I want to be doing further down the line? Another way to look at the DCU experience is clubs and societies. And as many of you will know, when you're looking at universities across Britain and Ireland, then clubs and societies are a major part of student life. What you do outside the lecture theatre, the laboratory, project work, the library, and of course, brilliant ways of meeting lots of different new people, new friends, people who support you when your own degree program is tough, when it's just a lot of work, when your projects are not quite working out the way you want. So your friends in clubs and societies will support you, and you, of course, in your turn, will support them. The number of clubs and societies, of course, varies year on year, depending. So 120 or so, but as I say, can change. And of course, we can also help you set up your own club or society as well. So some of the courses that you can study, and again, you will have been listening all the way through this evening to students talking about it from the students' view of what's going on. And I'm not going to go really through any of these at all, except to say, these are what you can do. This is how you can find out. So if you know what the code for the course is, say business studies DC11, you can just go to our website and type in dcu.ie/DC111. It will take you direct there. But as you can see, wide range of stuff: business, journalism, jazz, translation, chemistry with artificial intelligence, sports science and health, and so on. And some of the courses, they are innovative, groundbreaking stuff. We have set them up, for example, with feedback from the intra-employers that we work very, very closely with. So Chem with AI, for example, would be one course like that. And of course, these courses evolve and change and grow all the time. So journalism evolving very quickly at the moment. Biomedical engineering, we know about that. Anything involving AI and tech also shifting. And of course, the climate, those of you who follow the news, that's also evolving very quickly as well. So onwards. When you're thinking about what you want to study at university, there are lots and lots of different ways that you can frame it. And this is partly just to give you ideas about how you might frame choices, how you might have conversations with your guidance counselors, with your pupils, with the parents even, about what it is that you want to study at university. And of course, there's courses, there's location. So if you want to do professional registration, teaching, nursing, possibly the psychology courses, most courses have intra. Do you want to course the foreign language? And again, as you will have heard from all the different presentations earlier this evening, lots and lots of different ways of looking at it. So high completion rate, how many people who enroll on this course will be finishing it within the requisite time, basically, as opposed to, say, taking a year out to defer or whatever else. Courses in terms of entry requirements, so courses to come to study to DCU, everyone needs maths at some level, and then either Irish or English. There may also be higher English requirements for some courses as well. Some courses may require a foreign language. Some courses may require a science, so any science course, for example. Gardaí vetting, so Gardaí, they are the Irish police, so it's a police check, and it's when you are working with vulnerable groups, basically. So children, hospital settings, so any course involving teaching, nursing, psychology. And some courses involve an audition or other form of qualifying, how should we say, qualification process. So courses in music, for example, might do, and those who are looking at medicine, we don't do medicine, there's a special exam for that called an HPAT. So just watch out for that as well. And of course, the course webpage, go to the entry requirements section. That will tell you what the specific requirements are. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Another way of thinking about courses is this. what do I want to learn about? What do I want to do when I graduate? And I was sitting in a library, heavens, yesterday, day before, and I just thought, okay, different ways of looking at things. And I put these things down, and I was in a couple of schools yesterday talking about it. And they said, okay, there's the being in Ireland, there's personal life after university as well, and all these different ways of focusing it. And of course, many of these I want to learn about after graduate. These work across the disciplinary boundaries set up by faculties. So again, keep an eye on that and think, okay, what do I want to do next? Literally take a sheet of paper and think, what do I want to do? What do I want to study? Where do I want to be? And just see how it works out. And it's an exciting time you've got ahead of you. You've got lots of opportunities. So again, make some notes, listen in, and I'll give you a few more pointers. So in terms of a specific course, how to read a web page, and I know that in different presentations you'll have different bits of advice. This is just a general DCU undergraduate course web page. You can see the CAO code. That's what you would need to put when you are applying via the CAO to DCU. You can see also the points requirements, and again, points to be mentioned a certain amount during this presentation, and I'll explain what they mean a little bit later and how to translate them into different European systems. You can also see how to contact the program directly, and there's also a chat bot bottom right-hand corner of the web page as well, and that will come through to someone like me. And you can see also down the bottom of the page various links that you can press as well. Entry requirements section. So this is a degree, sports science and health, and you need a slightly higher maths requirement than generally an entry requirements. Also, you need one of these sciences, physics or chemistry or biology or physics with chemistry or agricultural science. So if you're not doing Irish Leaving Cert, you would need something equivalent to that. And again, I can talk you through equivalences for those a bit further on. But it means also that if you don't have any science subject at all, say in your IB, then you will get on this program, even if it's the program that you've got first preference and you've got lots of points. So check the entry requirements is the take home from this particular slide. Then we've got what is the course structure? What actually am I going to be doing year by year, module by module? So this is business studies. There are 200 people every year roughly on this program, and they do these modules in first year. And there's one module here, Learning Innovation for Enterprise. You'll probably have heard it mentioned, Business 101, basically, the grammar of business. What do these concepts actually mean? And it's a brilliant way of understanding what's going on, and also meeting people from lots of other business courses as well. In the third year, you'll see intra work placement scheme. So you're out 11 months in this one paid, or you can do study abroad for a year, or if you want, you could just jump straight to the final year. So you could do this degree in 3 years if you want. But, and it's a very, very big but, those of you who've heard the students talking about intra and why it's important, fun, valuable, how it transforms professional horizons, you can quite see why we so strongly recommend that you do this as a 4-year program and do the intra or the study abroad. Finally, in this section, this is some of the facilities that we offer. So as you may know, we do courses in communications, journalism, media studies. This is one of the communications units that we use. So all the people in shot here, I believe, are students. So 2 in the control booth where we are now, which buttons do you press? 2 controlling the cameras and supervising what's actually happening on the floor. The woman in the blue jacket is interviewing, and then we have here someone off-site who is, who she's interviewing. So it's an example basically of the quality of the kit that we get. And certainly I was sitting on some of the science talks earlier. Some of the kit we have is fabulous, industry standard. And of course, you need to know how it works. So we teach you. You go on intra and you learn how it works. Then we've got Polaris. So this is our brand new building on the DCU campus, and we took possession about now. It will be all kitted up and ready by the time you begin at DCU this coming autumn. So in 8 months time, 9 months time. So it's a new building. We're very excited. Lots of space for sports science people and the biomedical people as well. So enjoy the facilities, enjoy the space. So that's the first part about Ireland itself, about DC more precisely. I'm now going to go and look at how you might apply to study at DCU. If any of you recognizes the logo in the left-hand corner of this slide, congratulations. So again, these students, again, you saw them all, they all applied to DCU, they've all gone through this process, so don't panic. It is different to anything you've ever heard of before, possibly, because every country has its own process, because it suits the people who live in that country better. So how to apply, dates and deadlines. If you're applying from the European Union, from the United Kingdom, EEA, EFTA, with qualifications from those areas or with IB, then you're applying via CAO. It's literally as simple as that. You register your account with CAO, do it by, next Monday, and it's €30. After that, it gets more expensive. And then you list your courses in preference order. What that means is the course you want to do most goes top. That is the most important sentence you'll hear about the CAO process. The course you want most goes top, having checked to meet the requirements for it in terms of courses studied. There have been questions in the chat about the DARE scheme, and you'll see you need to get that paperwork in by the 1st of March. There are resources on our website that will tell you what it all means. And of course, you can also email in direct as well. If you're applying from outside those areas, or say if you're based in Europe but doing, say, American high school qualifications or Canadian or anywhere else, then you're applying direct to DCU. So dcu.ie/global, and then take it on from there. I'm going to imagine now that you're doing International Baccalaureate because it is the most widespread qualification across Europe in terms of number of schools taught in different countries. So as a minimum entry requirement, you need 24 points and the diploma, but the courses are competitive, so actually you'll need higher points than that. And you'll see there's some details on how to convert some of your IB grades into Irish Leaving Cert grades, and you'll see the Irish Leaving Cert grades in the entry requirement section. Note also, we don't take the career-related program at the moment. Note also that if you enable your IB account properly and your CAO account properly, then the results can be sent through electronically, and that just is easier. In terms of IB points conversion, so the course on climate environment sustainability, that was offering an Irish points score, IPS, of about 454. So as a very rough benchmark, that's about 33 international baccalaureate points. Courses in business studies, I believe, are about 500. So you're looking at about 36 IB points as a rough ballpark. Some courses, of course, are a bit lower. Global Business Germany this year was on about 477. So you're looking at about 34 to 35 IB points as an approximate benchmark. Bear in mind that points will vary year on year. It's literally all down to supply and demand, how many places there are, and where people have put the preferences on their CAO form. So there's a link to the guide. I'll put that in the chat a bit further on. This is how you convert individual IB grades into Leaving Cert grades. So if you're applying, say, for engineering and it's got a requirement for H4 in maths, then that means that you need higher level maths in IB grade 5 or better. So a 6 or a 7 would also meet the requirements. And of course, the more points you get, the more likely you are to get your desired course of study at DCU. So it is literally as simple as that. It sounds slightly odd, but take it slowly, work through it, and it will be fine. And there are resources on the CAO website about how it all works. Lots of videos to watch, basically. So famously, CAO is quite late in making offers. So it's a bit late in A-levels. The results for Irish Leaving Cert come out mid-August, and offers come out a little bit later. And you follow the instructions from CAO how to send the results in. IB, of course, direct. A-levels, I think, can do direct. International ones, less sure on. I can check on that and come back to you later. And then your results in IB, A-levels, whatever, get converted in the CAO system, checking course accounts, all that kinds of stuff, and then we make the offer. And the offer that you get made, that you receive, is the highest preference course on your CAO form, for which you firstly meet the requirements. So you've got the right maths requirement, you've done the science if needed, all that kind of stuff, and you have enough points relative to other candidates. So it is as simple as that, supply and demand. So you will probably in round one, you will get one offer only for the highest preference course where you meet the requirements and have enough points. If, say, that course is, say, your fifth preference course, you might in a latter round get also an offer for a higher preference course as well, if sufficient other candidates have turned down their offer, but no guarantees. The most important thing here, check your email, check your CAA account regularly for all the usual reasons. If you don't reply to your offer by the deadline, it gets cancelled off the system. Sorry, but that's simply how it works. So in terms of quick tips, firstly, what you're interested in. See the first part of this presentation, for example. Check you meet the course requirements. You know how to check those. Check that you're roughly in the right ballpark, just because it's always worth thinking, how realistic am I being? Check the deadline for aptitude tests, interviews, auditions, all that kind of stuff. Then, in preference order, which course do you genuinely want to study most? Put that top, bearing in mind the previous caveats and warnings. Keep an eye on your inbox and folder, and then get your exam results into CAO promptly. And again, it all sounds very, very simple. Contrasting this, say, with UCAS or with other international systems, there are no personal statements generally for pretty much all courses from the candidate. You do not need to say, I want to do this course because. We do it literally on exam results. Secondly, there is not a personal statement from schools either in terms of saying, this is a lovely person. So don't worry about that. It is a very, very simple thing to do. And if you're a guidance counsellor, once you're up to speed on how CAO works, it is very, very easy and simple and direct to talk your students through what's going on. And if you want a presentation done to your school, let me know, and I will come and do one online, possibly in person. I am in Berlin next month for a few days, so I'm talking to a couple of schools there about studying in Ireland, DCU, how to apply, all that kinds of stuff. So, secondly, fees and accommodation. This is a complicated area. So, fee status depends on basically who you are, what your background is. Generically, you need to be EU, EA, EFTA, Swiss, UK national, and resident in the area for 3 of the last 5 years. That's a bit of a mouthful. There are other ways of getting EU fee status as well. And see the dcu.ie/fees part of the website for it. It is complicated areas and depends on various variables, so I'm not going to do too many details on it now. Then you've got accommodation, and as some of you may know, accommodation in Ireland is famously complicated. Plan ahead. So whatever university you apply for, also find out about accommodation, get on the ballot for it. If you've got friends or family living in Ireland already, then make contact with them, stay on good terms, ask their advice. If you're a guidance counsellor and you've got students currently studying in Ireland, again, just stay in touch with them and ask their advice and what they can suggest for the current students who are applying. Plan ahead, basically, as with applying by CAO. In terms of what the fees are, if your EU fee status is your first undergrad degree, you may well qualify under the so-called free fees scheme. What that means basically is the Irish state covers your tuition, which is great. Separate to that, there is a student contribution, about €3,000 a year, varies slightly university by university. But again, it's worth knowing about and just thinking, how do I budget for this? International varies much more dramatically, but of course, it's higher. In terms of living expenses, depending on how expensive your accommodation is, whether you're cooking your own food or eating out much more often, how far you are from campus, all these kinds of things, how much you travel around Ireland or how much often you fly home, that kind of ballpark, €1,100, €600 per month. Bear in mind, you don't have to be in Dublin the whole year. Bear in mind also, if you're doing intra for, say, 6 months to a year, you get paid for that. So that can be a major, major, major contribution towards the cost of being a student in Ireland, as well as giving you lots of experience that makes you industry ready when you graduate. So that's roughly how the numbers work. These people, you've seen this picture, I think, twice before. They have all done the application most of the DCU. They have all sorted out accommodation. They're all studying here. They can do it. And if they can do it, then surely you're able to do it as well. So ways to find out more. We are here now for the online session. There are some on-campus open days, one in April, one in June. They're both quite small. But if genuinely this university is on your radar, if you haven't been here before, you might find it worthwhile planning or thinking, let's just come out. The open days, they're quite small. They're not that long, but you'll be able to talk to a lot of people and think, okay, what do I want to know more about? So it's the people that make the university. That's why I show you slides of students all the time. In terms of what next, so course web pages, module descriptions, intra, talk to the experts, make some notes. That's kind of the research bit. In terms of practical actions, 1, if Ireland is on your radar, register now for your CAO form, because then that's down. Make sure you actually meet the requirements of the course you want to apply for, get them down in preference order. What you want most goes top, preference 1 through to preference 10. Keep an eye on your emails. Universities will email you, CAO will email you. And then finally, think about accommodation, transport, insurance, the practicalities of simply living in a different country. So that's me. I'm going to stop screen share and now dive into the chat and just see if there's anything more I need to talk about. Otherwise, please start typing frantically now. We've got a few minutes to go. You'll notice I haven't talked about any courses at all in any great detail because you've heard all of that. You've talked to the experts. You've heard the experts saying, this is what I chose. This is what it's like. This is how it's constructed. This is my work placement. This is what's fun. This is my favorite module, all that kind of stuff.